Okay, so now we need a library because we need an external library which we're going to download from the internet. And what this library will enable us to do is query the whois servers in order to determine whether a certain domain is available or not, or whether some certain variations on a domain are available or not. So we're going to need two things. We're going to need a list of the whois servers, and we're going to need some external libs. So here we go. You need to go to this website, but let me just go ahead and zoom that in for you. Okay. So this is the website where you actually need to go in order to download this this library. And let me go ahead and show you where to go. I'm just going to go ahead and close this. And we're going to type in Apache Commons. Let's go here and then press Control F, type in net. Next. Okay, so this is the one that you need. Click on it, go into download. It's going to select a mirror for you in an automated fashion, so leave that as it is. Commons 3.5 bin zip. Go ahead and save file. And you can go ahead and extract it. So it's all here. You just click on this arrow next to extract and click on extract to, and then select the location where would you like it to be extracted. So I have extracted mine to documents. You just click on documents and you click on OK, and it's going to extract it for you. I'm not going to do it because I already have it. And then once you are done with that, you need to go into the libraries and write into tralala, your project or whatever it is called. Perhaps it's not a good idea to name it tralala. Just name it something meaningful. You go into new and you find folder. If the folder is not listed here, just click on other and find folder there. So let me just go ahead and click on folder. And I'm going to type in the folder name, so it will be lib. And I'm going to go ahead and click on finish. So that's going to create a folder lib for me. Now again, right-click on tralala and go down into import. And now select file system here from general tab. Click on next, and then find the place where you actually extracted your file. So mine is in documents and it's like commons. Yep, there we go. So it's going to be named commons-net-3.5. And if it's some other version by the time you're watching this, that's fine too, doesn't matter. Just go ahead and go into the folder and then click on OK. Click here to select everything and then deselect these text files down below because we only need the jar files. And into folder, you need to change this. Just type in /lib. So whatever comes here, just add /lib and click on finish. Then you need to right-click on your project and then go into properties and then go into Java build path, click on libraries and add jars. Okay, so you click here and you go into your lib folder where you've actually placed them, you expand, and you have 3 jars here. So just select all 3 of them with a shift. You click on the first one, you press shift, and you click on the last one. That should select all of them. You click on OK, and then you click on OK again, and that's it. So that's it. That's really all you need to do, and now you are actually ready to code. Okay, so now you can begin coding here, and I'm going to go ahead and start explaining the code. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this one, which I've created for demonstrational purposes to show you how it is created, because I don't need it. And I'm going to go into my project here, which is default package, have fun. Okay. So there you go. The first thing that we're going to need is we're going to need to import array lists, javautil.arraylists. We will use array lists extensively, as I have learned, to store data, to store all types of data, mostly strings. And then we'll use the collections. We'll need to import collections as well in order to be able to perform certain operations on array lists and other things. We need hash map and map to create the map types. What they are and how they're used, I'll explain shortly once we get into it. You need the Java IO, and this is the external library which we have downloaded from the net because we need to use a because we needed a whois client so that we can query the whois servers and receive responses in regard to the availability of a domain. So all that this code will do is basically we'll give it a domain. It will give you all the domains which are exactly 1 bit different from the domain you have given it, and it will check whether those domains are available. Now, this check is not 100%. You will not find such a check 100% unless you actually go to one of the domain name resellers and use their APIs, which you most likely need to pay for. But this is good enough. So it will give you a good approximation of which domains are available, and then you can just go online and see if they are indeed available. Okay, let me go ahead and minimize these functions, and then I'm gonna go over them. So this is a basic Java program. So the class name needs to match the file name. So havefun.java, and this class needs to be havefun. It needs to have at least one class which is of the same name. And then we can declare as many methods in it as we like. It also needs to have absolutely the method main, without which this code will not work. Of that, I assure you. So let me just go ahead and expand this. Just double click here to minimize and to expand so I can explain a little bit better so that you can see everything a little bit better. And okay, so we will get to this main part. This is where the code execution starts. So this is like one method calling another, and this one is being passed a string. So a bit of a loop there, if you will. Anyway, let me go ahead and state, as I have stated before, the code is not absolutely perfect. There is no way of perfectly checking if the domains are available or not, in my opinion, without actually paying for the API usage of the domain name providers, where you can generate HTTP GET requests and receive responses from the domain name resellers in regard to the availability of the domains. But for that, you need to register and most likely need to pay, except problems. So let's go ahead and begin. So I've just created comments here, and I've stated that this is like, for example, first function, second function, third function, fourth, fifth, and they're going to be called in that approximate order. Anyway, let's go ahead and begin with the first function. So what does this function do? Well, as it says, gets the bit mask of the domain. So you basically pass a domain to it. We're not going to pass this domain. This was just for testing purposes. I'm just going to type in admin.com. It's not illegal to check whether the domains are available. It shouldn't be illegal to register the available domains, but you need to be very careful with trademarks and such problems, because you do not want to encroach on anybody's territory. Although if your domain name is different even by 1 bit, that should be fine, because if nobody owned it before you, etc. If nobody owns it, then you buy it, so it's yours. These domain names are fairly cheap too. Anyway, this code in and of itself does not do anything malicious at all. All that it does is basically check whether certain domains are available, whether certain variations of an existing domain are available. So it's going to take this domain, it's going to convert it all into zeros and ones in sets of 8, and it's going to, this function will do that. So this is the, this function will do that. So let's go ahead and expand it. So we're passing to it a string, which is our domain. And it's not that long. I mean, not that logical either, in a way that you think about it. Could have used a Python script. This would be a lot shorter. But as I said, I wanted to introduce you to Java. So I declare an array list of type, oops, oh God. Okay, there we go. So I declare an array list of type string. Name of the array list is bitmask, and this is just a way of basically declaring it. This is how you would declare. This is how you declare an array list. Then I declare a string tmp, which is going to be a holder of values, and I initialize it to empty. I'm using an array list because I want a dynamic size. You have arrays, and then you have array lists. Array lists have fixed sizes, which are immutable, and you have array lists, which have dynamic sizes. Since I don't know how many different variations will I get from the domain name that I have passed, I do not know what the size of the array will be. Therefore, I need to use something that is dynamic. Anyway, what I do here is take the string dom, which the domain, and I convert that into a char array, so I can examine each character individually. So, for example, E, R, M, I, N, etc. So I cast that into a char array, and then I begin manipulating that char array. So what happens here is that this is being converted to binary. So it goes through the length of the char array. It goes through the length of this char array. So how many characters does it have? It's going to loop through every one of those characters from first to last. And then it's going to convert each one of them into a binary, and it's going to concatenate that with this string. So it will just add those values that it gets to this string, and then I will add this string to the bitmask array. So every position within the bitmask will be one string. So every letter will basically be one position, and then I reinitialize this to nothing, to an empty string, so that the next time this gets added, I don't get double values here. Okay, no big deal. So all that we're doing here is converting to binary, just the logic. I could have done this with a manual logic as well, but Java offers some very nice functions to do that, so no need. Okay, now we go into the second portion of the code, which basically, okay, I have a string, bitmask str, so this is like bitmask string. And what I'm doing here is creating all that this entire code does is basically create corrections, because I'm going to get letters, which are basically I'm going to get chars, and these chars are not 8 bits, and I need them to be 8 bits. So wherever the bits are missing, it's going to add a 0, or it's going to add 2 zeros. So it's going through the length of the bitmask array list. Get I basically fetches the first element. I is 0, so that's going to be the first element. And then when I becomes 1, when it iterates over it, I will become 1, and that will be the second element. And it's going to be, this is going to loop over for as long as, for the length of for the size of the array list. So it's going to go from beginning to the end in terms of its length. So how many positions are occupied, that is how many iterations there will be. Okay, then I basically state if the length of the string which was put into the bitmask array list, this is how I'm fetching the string, and then it says dot, and I get the length of that string, and if it is equal to 7 bits, problem, go and correct. So what this piece of code does here is just adds another 0 to the beginning of that string so that it gets converted into an 8-bit format. And it says, okay, string reverse 00, this is just type string, variable reverse 00, the name is arbitrary, and this is how I go about initializing it. So I state that bitmask.getI, which is basically the first index of which is basically just one of the strings in bitmask, and I reverse it. So I completely flip the order of bits within that string, of characters within that string. And then I cast this from a array list, I convert it to a string, okay? And I store that into this string here. Once I've done that, I add a 0 to the end, and then I repeat the procedure down below one more time to reverse it, because it's a little bit difficult to add to the beginning of the string. It's a lot easier to just add to the end and then reverse it. So you reverse the string once, you add a 0 to the end, and then you reverse the string again, so you get the 0 at the front. Excellent. So, fairly simple and easy. No big deal. Okay, so now that we have actually done that, we use the bit mask array list to remove whatever was on that position. To basically remove the old one. We are just removing the old one, which was incorrect, and then we're going to add the new one, which was like reverse 0, 1. So we just remove the old string, which lacked a 0, and then we add the new string to which a 0 was added. So what this means is add, go to the position I, and add this particular string. And here it just says go to the position I and remove a string which is there. I is an index that is being iterated here in the loop itself. And once that is done, it says a bit mask str, which is our string here, which is to hold our domain name as a string. We will add to that the bit mask here, which will be at position I, which will basically be just one letter. So we're just fetching that one letter, one char, which we have converted to binary, and then corrected the conversion mistakes, and then we're just adding that binary into this string. So this string, by the end of this, will consist of something like this. So this will be that string, and it will always be divisible by 8. It is very important that it's divisible by 8 because we're using 8-bit encoding. Okay, so this procedure here is exactly the same as the procedure here, except the condition here is, okay, if it has 6 bits, because sometimes it will have 6 bits, sometimes it will have 7 bits. So if it has 6 bits, just go ahead and add 2 zeros. If it has 7 bits, just go ahead and add 1 zero. And that will not change anything aside from the length of the string itself. It will not change the value. Okay, so this is the same as this, except it's just checking if this is 6, and this one is checking if the length is 7. So you cannot have 6 bits or 7 bits or anything else. You need to have 8 bits per char. Okay, so if this is like this, add it. Else, if this is like this, if this is 6, add it again. Make corrections here and make corrections here and then add it. Otherwise, if everything is fine, you don't need to actually do anything other than just add that string to the str. And then please return the bit mask string. Okay, so you got everything, and now just please return to us the bit mask as the domain as a string. So let me just go ahead and demonstrate what that function does. But I'm running out of time a little bit here, so let me just go ahead and be very quick if I can. System.out.println. This is just going to create a printout onto the screen. And I'm just going to go ahead and copy it from here. Okay, let me just go ahead and show you how it will look like. I'm missing another one. There we go. Cancel, no, I need to save it first, Control S, and then run it. And there you go. Okay, so this is the bit mask of the domain. So this is just a set of sets of ones and zeros divisible by 8. If you go ahead and copy this stream of ones and zeros onto the net, find a website that converts from binary to text, you will see that it will correspond to the name of the domain which you have given here. Anyway, running short on time. I'll see you in a follow-up tutorial.